So introduce yourself a bit, and also what pronouns do you use?
Pronouns I use is they, them.
Okay, cool.
So my name is Maple Renard. I am your local virtual fox girl. I may or may not be in your computer right now. Watch out, I'm going to get you. Uh, so I am actually a trans woman IRL. I'm a demi girl, which basically means I am a feminine non-binary person. And honestly, I like the color purple.
Awesome. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Purple VTubers apparently are
Mm,
like peak. Apparently,
yeah.
from what I've been hearing
Yeah.
on the Twitter sphere.
No, apparently, yeah. I'm also Native American as well, IRL. Like I'm Native American 100%.
Mhm.
So I am very brown. And from what I can tell, according to some other VTubers who started as well, like last year, 2021. I started last year during in July,
Uh-huh.
when the whole VTuber boom started happening.
Yeah.
I was one of the few brown VTubers out there, like one of the few. And now suddenly, and now suddenly all the people who are people of color are suddenly coming into being a VTuber, which is awesome, by the way. We need more people like us.
Yeah, it's amazing. That's
Yeah, it's
amazing.
awesome. I actually made a lot of friends who are black or Hispanic, Native American. I actually have a Hawaiian VTuber friend, which is awesome.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, here comes the brown people.
Yeah, so going so now like really going into the questions and everything.
Mhm.
When did you like realize your identity? Like could you kind of walk us through that process and kind of what that was like?
Oh yeah, this is a bit of a tale actually. So,
Mhm.
as I said in your chat earlier, I am 31, so I was around for a lot of like the early like anime stuff and like we're talking like Adult Swim like anime on like late at night on YTV if you're Canadian. Like we're talking like 2006 stuff and whatnot. So,
Mhm.
that was about the time when like I was I think what was it? It was middle school actually, when I started realizing that I didn't feel like I was a boy at all. Like I didn't feel like I was a dude or like a guy. I felt more effeminate growing up, which is well, when growing up I actually was pretty effeminate, but my family, unfortunately, at the time wasn't really into it. They were like, "No, you can't be like that. You got to be a boy." You know how it is. It's not
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
And I kind of I held those thoughts back until high school, where I started art like. Do you remember Go Gaia Online?
Yeah, I do. I do remember Gaia Online. I never participated in it, but I was like one of those edgy teens that made fun of it a lot.
Yeah. So I was a Gaia Online person, and all I did for most of my time on there when I was in high school was I started role playing in the forums and whatnot. And every single time I did it, I always role played as a girl. And every time I played a new character, and like at the time it was World of Warcraft in 2007, I always played a girl character. And what else was there? Also, always play a girl character in every single other game where I had the choice to do it. And I'm like, there's nothing to worry about here. There's nothing to worry about. It's totally normal for a guy to look at a girl's ass when you're playing video games. That's the lie we tell ourselves. And
Exactly.
and then when I was when was it? I was 18, about to graduate high school. And that's when I learned about trans people, like guys who transition to be female, or girls transition to be male. I learned about that from 4chan, unfortunately, of all places,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, oh wait, we can do that. Like that was like my exact thought process. Like, wait, we're allowed to do that. So I kind of fiddled around with those thoughts and whatnot, and yeah, I was 18 when I figured that I was a girl. Unfortunately, though, at the time, I just graduated high school, and I was playing with the idea of being effeminate. And then my very first girlfriend I started dating, she was very against the idea. So unfortunately, that was on the back burner for like most of my life.
Hmm.
Hmm. And then around 2015 is when the idea popped in my head again, because I went to a LARP group back where I used to live in Winnipeg, and it was called Wild Guard, but we call it Gay Guard because a lot of people who went there were like LGBT and whatnot. It's like a lot of people are LGBT, and there's one group of people there that were like all trans, and I'm like, oh my god, hey, I remember that from back when I graduated. I'm gonna talk to these people, and I talked to them, and I got the resources I needed. But unfortunately, my girlfriend at that time was all like, if you truly are trans and want to become a girl, I might have to break up with you. And me being an idiot decided to say, okay, I'll stay with you instead. So, you know.
Yeah, and something like that can always be a very hard choice too when you have like a partner involved in the mix.
Yeah.
Because I know for sure in my experience, I was dating at this time, someone at the time when I decided, and it was hard for him. He ultimately decided to stay with me, and I'm gonna disconnect my late motion. It's overheating. I ultimately decided, he ultimately decided to stay with me, but I remember he went through a process, because you're kind of, because like when someone comes out as trans, like that can really like change someone's perception of that person. And like, and I think it's funny that you brought up how like you had a group, how you had this group of LARPers that conveniently ended up kind of being this LGBT group. Like, do you ever notice how, like, LGBT people seem to kind of, like, attract each other? Like, I don't mean, like, in terms of, like, actual attractiveness,
Yeah.
but as in, like, we kind of just tend to gravitate towards each other.
Yeah, that's a. I'm glad you said that too, because that's something I'm noticing in the nerd space now recently. With like, I'm part of the Warhammer community and the Magic the Gathering community, and the
Mhm.
amount of LGBT people we have in both communities is like a large number. Like it wasn't like this 10 years ago, like at all. But now, I guess now as society accepts more LGBT folks, that they're more like allowed to be themselves now, and that's why there's more and more people coming out recently, and that's why more and more nerd spaces are being like more like getting more and more LGBT fans into those spaces, which is an amazing thing because that way you're not feeling alone in said space. Because like I said, when I was I was actually the only trans girl in 2018 in my Warhammer group back in Winnipeg. And it wasn't until 2019, 2020 when more trans people started coming to Games Workshop. And it just felt amazing that it didn't feel alone anymore because, again, society is now accepting who we are, which is good.
Yeah, yeah, it's great, and I think honestly, like my whole theory about it. So like, have you ever watched JoJo's Bizarre Adventure?
Yes.
So like the whole like story concept of how like Stan users attract other Stan users. Like they
Mhm.
just like there's some like mysterious force that brings Stan users together. I believe like on if you're on the LGBT spectrum, you're like that. Like you just bring you just
Yeah.
like you just like bring each other to each other.
And, and,
Like we're
and truth be
such.
told, also the stand user theory is the fact that we also make up our own names for our stands, like
Yeah,
some crazy names.
yeah. Like we're all like it's like we're such a minority, but we have this way of like coming together. And I think that's so cool, you know?
hmm it is like when I first announced that I was trans on my personal Facebook, 2017, I got all the support, and then 2018 when I first started my medication, and just so much support from everybody I got, and ever since then, I've actually had about 15 IRL friends back in Winnipeg who said, "Hey, Maple." I'm not gonna say my real name, by the way. Just
Yeah,
what's up,
yeah.
Maple? Like, hey, Maple. I think I'm trans. What should I do? And I point to the resources I got, and honestly, like being one of the first trans people in all my friend circles was a good thing. Now I think about it because I was able to go through it and help other people go through it as well, and help them with the information, the resources where to go, and all that fun stuff and whatnot. So again, it's just nice to know that people can like rely on me for stuff like that, and the fact that ever since it came out, just I've had 15 friends ask me, "Hey, what should I do?" It's great.
Yeah, yeah, and it's kind of the same for me too. It's like when you come out, like because I came out on Facebook as well, and like I got like a ton of support through there,
Mhm.
and I also had the same deal where like I would kind of have people in my friend groups and stuff like that kind of reach out to me and just kind of be like, yeah, I've been kind of like questioning my shit for a while, like what should I do, where like what how do I know that this is trans feelings or just like
Mhm.
a feminine or masculine like tendency, and
Yeah.
that's something that everyone goes through with that, and everyone goes through it in their own way. And transitioning is always a journey in and of itself. So
It really
that's
is.
yeah. So
Because
yeah.
I can tell you with my journey, because like I said, like I keep saying in pretense is that I'm from Canada. I
Mhm.
actually live in America now, so I actually moved down here back in 2019. Bad timing,
Yeah.
and very bad timing there, Maple.
Yeah.
So back in Canada, went to like I was basically just full femme everywhere I went. Like taking the HRT, full femme everywhere, become myself. Actually start my voice training and whatnot. But unfortunately, when I moved down here, I actually had to stop all of that because legally I changed nothing in any of my documents. So according to the American government, I'm still a cis dude.
Oh
And
wow.
whenever I talk to them, I have to pretend to be a cis dude because of bureaucratic fun stuff. I'm not sure if you allow swearing or not, so that's why I said that.
Oh no, I allow swearing. Say whatever the fuck you want.
Uh, Anyways, so I moved down here to be with my girlfriend,
uh,
who I live with, who's also a VTuber, by the way.
awesome.
Yeah. And so we're living together, and unfortunately, like I said, I've had no chance of voice train, no chance to present myself femme. Like I've had nothing.
Hmm.
It also doesn't help that COVID happened as well, so I was not gonna leave my apartment like whatsoever. And the things I want to voice train, but the way my mind is, if I start voice training to one direction, I can't go back the other way. So which means every time I talk to like immigration person or a government agent or whatever from my government agent, yes, I'm part of the Men in Black. Uh, um, anytime I talk to anybody who's from the government, I have to sound exactly like this, which really sucks.
Wow.
So
Yeah. So
yeah,
like you.
I've had zero chance to do anything.
Yeah, because it's like, yeah, that's a lot. That's like some very unique issues you face. You know, as
Mm.
someone who has immigrated to the U.S. And is undergoing a transition, um, and with your documentation not matching, yeah, I can see like, the struggle there, because I've had that issue a lot too. Not in the sense of like, because obviously I'm native born American, so
Hmm.
I have all I have like the citizenship and everything. But
Yeah,
like
you
when
got the American flag in your heart. Gotcha.
yeah, but like when I gosh, like when I had to go and like get my documents changed, it was a pain in the butt.
Hmm.
And the thing is, it's like hormones. So like I started hormones in 2017, and I didn't even bother changing my documents until like a year and a half later.
Oh, jeez.
I which was a big mistake on my part, because the thing is, paperwork moves slower than hormones. As convenient, So like whenever I would go on the phone and I would talk to people, and I also did get professional voice training done. I actually had it done through my university. I didn't pay a cent for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I was their very first trans patient, and
Hmm.
it was also to benefit like the students and everything. It was like a
Okay.
educational thing. So they did it for me for free, and I got professional training done for 6 months. And then I continued to do exercises and stuff for another 6 months. So whenever I would talk on the phone, I would always get mammed and everything. And
Hmm.
so like I would go on the phone, and usually it would be like stuff with the bank, right? Like I'd get a lot of stuff with the bank that I would have to call them, about. And so whenever I would try to call them, I'll tell them like, yeah, under I have to like when they ask for a name, I have to give them, my dead name. And when I give them my dead name,
Yeah.
they instantly ask, okay, like first of all, they ask me if I'm the wife, and then
Oh,
they
no.
and then I have to then do a nice little sigh, and then be like, okay, so this is a story all about how my life got twisted on
Turn it upside down.
so, right? So I have to tell them my whole life story and be like, yeah, I started transition. I'm transitioning male to female. So this is my actual name. And of course, they don't believe my shit. So I have to go through like 20, 30 minutes of security questions,
Oh my
verification
God.
questions. Every single time I had to call, whether it was about my bank, whether it was about my health insurance, whether it was about literally anything to do with me. So it was horrid. It was
I could
horrid.
imagine. I know back in Canada, I had a friend of mine who so get this. In order to fully change your information in Canada,
Mhm.
you legit just pay $300 to the Canadian government, and they'll just do it. They'll just do it, no problem.
Wow.
Yeah, the problem though is $300. I didn't have any of that when I lived back in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
So, well, what I can do here, I found out recently from the government, is that I can actually, what I have to do first is I have to get information changed back in Canada,
Mhm.
and then I have to do it through the states, which is a whole process in of itself. And according to somebody I know who told me about this, as a Canadian immigrant, during this process, there's a good chance I could just get deported instead.
Yeah.
So I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place for my stuff,
Mhm.
but at this moment in time, I really don't care. Like I'm just gonna do my own thing. If people have a problem with me using like using the gender M on applications while coming fem, I don't care. That's on them. That's not
Yeah.
on me.
Yeah, and sometimes it just you know, you also do eventually reach that point where you just like stop giving an F about that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Like I remember at my current job right now. I'm sure my gender thing says M, but when I get in there,
mm,
I actually put up my my androgynous voice when I'm working there, and I tell everyone that I'm non-binary, which I am basically, and I can't. By the way, I can't do the voice right now because I used it for like the last 6 hours today at work, so
yeah,
that energy's gone now. But
I feel
uh,
that. I feel that.
but there's only one person so far has misgendered me, and it was the 66-year-old regional manager. So you know,
Oh wow. Yeah.
even though I told her I'm not binary, she's all like, I don't recognize that, and I'm like, I'm not gonna like you.
Yeah. So like for myself when I went through the name change process,
Mhm.
it was kind of wild. So like I had to so for one thing, I had to go to court and I had to arrange a court date. And then after that, I had to get fingerprints done, but I couldn't get them done at any ordinary place. I had to go to
Okay.
jail. Your
Oh,
girl had to go to jail. I was legit
Emberly goes to jail on today's episode.
like I had to. So like yeah, I'm gonna tell a story about how I went to jail. Okay.
I need to get this now.
So like I basically told me, yeah, you have to go to the correctional facility to get your fingerprints done in order to have this court date to get your name changed. And of course
Oh
you also like
no.
had to like pay for it. You had to like and you couldn't pay for it in any other like ordinary way. You couldn't use like a debit card or anything. You had to use fucking cashier's check.
That
You had to go to the post office and get a cashier's check.
that
So
that doesn't sit well.
So
with
I had to
me.
waltz my way to jail with a cashier's check and pay them to check my ass into jail. Uh, so basically, I had to I had to go to jail basically. So I went to the correctional facility. I actually called my boyfriend and cried on the phone before I went because I was really scared. Like it was literally like because you literally had to go to the gates to the prison like, and it's literally this tall fence with barbed wire and shit. It's literally just like what you would see like in the movies and stuff. And there would be a cop, there would be a guard there, and they were armed, by the way. And I had to tell him like, yeah, you know,
God.
I'm here for my fingerprint appointment. And there will literally be him and like two other cops escorting me into the building. And this is the same building that they bring in prisoners. This is the
What
same
the
building
fuck?
and intake process that they do for prisoners. The same intake process. So
That doesn't sound right to me. What the
yeah,
hell?
it was horrible. It was
Oh,
horrible.
Jesus
So they had to
Christ.
like escort me in, and of course I had to turn in my cell phone. I had to turn in all my possessions. I had to come in empty-handed, nothing on me.
Oh god,
So that was scary. It was mad scary.
I could imagine like just having to go to the corrections office just to get a fingerprint done for that.
Yeah.
And you're literally going through a jail like at least didn't go through the cells, but that's just ugh.
Yeah, I mean, I could get a view of the cells from where I was in intake. I didn't see any of the
Hmm.
prisoners. I wasn't like making eye contact with anybody, but
Yeah.
I think they schedule it during times where prisoners wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
But like it's literally the same intake room that they take prisoners through. Like they do the fingerprints, the like photo and
Hmm.
everything. They just took my fingerprints. But basically, I sat there in a chair and had a panic attack for like 10 minutes, and then they took my fingerprints, escorted me back out to my car, and I cried again. So.
Oh God. Okay, that actually reminds me of when I went to when I was immigrating down here. I
uh,
had, fun story. So, how to explain how I immigrated here? There is a treaty called the J Treaty between Canada and the United States. And
uh,
at the time, there was a guy at a time of what do you call it, when the amendment stuff was happening with the signings and whatever it's called.
yeah.
Whatever it's called. There's a guy named John Jay, and he basically had it written there of that there would be no possible way to block trade goods between the British colonies and United States. Now guess what was considered property then? Take a
What?
wild guess.
Um.
It might have been Native Americans.
Oh.
We were considered property in
Wow.
1776. And this treaty, by the way, it still stands till 2021. It's still a thing.
Really?
So it is. And this is
Wow.
and this is how Canadian Native Americans can actually immigrate to America without any issue. Now, there are some rules and regulations, obviously. So as long as a Native American can prove they are from a actual Canadian reserve and can prove they have 50% blood in them of being Native American. And these have to be from official Canadian government documents.
Okay.
So basically, you need to show your family tree and show which reserve you're from, and
Hmm.
then they'll make a determination of like if you're a native enough for the Jade Treaty. And if you are, so by the way, the process is like 6 weeks. It's a 6 weeks progress. So
Okay.
basically you make an appointment. You go into the immigration office with a um photograph, and the documents. You give them to the nice lady behind the plain glass, and they're like, okay, now we gotta get your fingerprints. And that was the scary part because the immigration office actually has like two security guards and a police officer on duty at all times.
Hmm.
Because apparently people do weird shit there, I guess. So they sent me to the back rooms and whatnot. And by the way, I also found out that my immigration office also holds people who are trying to get in illegally. So that was fun walking past those guys.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So they took me to the back. I got my fingerprints done. Got my photograph taken again. They took a bunch of like bio signs and whatnot for me, and that was it. And then I waited 5 weeks, and then got the letter in, and yeah,
So they took your vitals. So like they did like a medical exam.
yeah,
Oh. Oh.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It was not fun.
Oh wow.
Like I can tell you right now, it was not fun. They also had to background check you right, back in Canada, so you had to pay money for it. That was not fun, paying $30 for that background check. And they had to make sure you weren't a criminal and weren't smoking drugs and all that fun stuff and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Mhm.
but it seems like we both have spooky fingerprinting experiences.
Yeah,
I guess.
getting your fingerprints done should not be like a terrible, horrifying experience. I've been through haunted houses that are less scary than that. Like, what the
Yeah.
hell? Like, come on.
Yeah, like I don't understand cuz like you could literally go to like any tag and title place and like get your fingerprints done. But
Yeah.
apparently they won't let you cuz I guess I don't know why. Maybe it's because like I guess you could have someone technically like if you knew someone there you can maybe have them like
Hmm.
forge your shit or something
Yeah.
like crazy like that, but
You
it's
know, actually,
it's
what's weird?
scary.
I just remember now because my girlfriend is also trans, and
uh,
she did a whole like name change and all that stuff like about 5 years ago. And I
mhm.
remember her saying that all she had to do was make a court date and go in. That's all she
Wow.
had to do. Yeah, that's all she had to do. Make a court date, go in. They asked her the usual question like, "How long do you feel it this way? I do actually feel like this way." Blah blah blah. and she just gave him basic answers, and she's like, "Okay, cool, here you go."
Yeah.
It's pretty easy, honestly. It was pretty easy in my state, and even easier back in Canada because all you do is like give the Canadian government, "Hey, here's $300. I want everything changed," and they'll be like, "Okay, we got you, homie." Like it's basically it.
Yeah, yeah, it sounds so much easier over there, because, like, over here, I had to, so, like, on top of all that fingerprinting nightmare stuff, I had to, like, write legal letters, and I had to get shit notarized. So basically, like, I kind of did what might have been a no-no, I'm not sure, but I basically looked up, like, templates, like, legal letter templates, just, like, with all, like, the legalese crap on there, proposing a name change and asking for a name change date. And I basically like copy pasted one of those online, and then I just like filled in the blanks where I needed to make it look professional. And like, it was done by someone who knew a little bit about law. So I submitted that, and I remember I had to pay a fee. I think it was like fucking $70. So I had to pay like $70 to the court. I had to pay like $45 for the fingerprints at the correctional facility. So I think altogether it was like around $100 something to get like my name change done. But it was like a process, and I had to get letters. Oh yeah, I also had to get shit notarized, and that was like $20. So it was probably closer to 200. But
that's an insane amount. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's an insane amount, and it's a lot of work. So like I had to like find a notary office. I had to put together like letters saying like, yes, this is me. I also had to have letters from my therapist, letters from my doctor, and I had to go to jail.
And then I had to go to jail.
Yeah.
Oh no. So what you're saying is that I need to write like 5 essays before I can do the Sound America. Fun.
Yeah. So Kaya asked if I had to advertise it in a newspaper. So I actually didn't have to do that. That requirement was waived for me. So another thing that's common about name changes in the US is that sometimes you actually have to advertise it on the newspaper. You have to pay for a newspaper posting to announce formally that yes, this person changed their name from blank to blank.
Why?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's a thing?
It's a thing, yeah.
What the fuck? I have several questions about this fucking process now.
Yeah, I have a couple trans friends IRL that had to do that. So.
Oh my god, what the fuck? That's such an invasion of privacy, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh god.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Okay.
Chaos says, "Damn, you got yours waived. I had to advertise mine in 2 papers."
And so, 2 papers.
2 papers.
Wow.
2 fucking papers.
That honestly fucking sucks.
Like
Jesus Christ.
It can get tough here. I know there's some states even where like I know there's some states where you can't change like I know you can't change your gender without like having to undergo surgery and stuff like that. There's some states that are like that. I know my state isn't.
I feel a little appalled right now.
Yeah. Like it can be pretty tough. I remember for my situation, I just had to submit a letter from the doctor, and I brought it to just saying like, yes, she legit.
Yeah, she good. Don't worry.
Yeah, she good. Don't worry.
I said chest pump, but yeah, she good. Don't worry. I got her.
Yeah, and I had to submit that to the office. So it was that one was pretty smooth, but I know that can be complicated in some places too.
Yeah, that's insane. But yeah, actually, so I should probably tell a story as well, because this story is actually hilarious of how my family found out I was trans.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, what was coming out like for you?
Oh my god, it was actually kind of funny. So I don't live with my parents. I don't live with my biological parents. I don't know where my biological mom lives, so I don't know if she even exists. So that's fun. She was out of my life since I was born, so whatever. But my dad though. So the first person I told was my grandparents. I told both of them. Because I live with them, obviously. I said how to tell them. And my grandma was just like, okay, I'm still getting mad at you, though. We do certain dumb things. I'm like, cool. She's like, I'll just call you by the female stuff. Is that okay? I'm like, that's cool, too. I'm okay with that. So she was making a joke about how, like, how like when she yells me to do something at the time, like I'll just say it in the female form. My grandpa did not give a shit. Like he was just like whatever about it.
Mm.
Yeah. So, then I told my biological dad. He found out by accident though. So
Oh.
I was upstairs minding my own business on my phone watching. I think I was watching a TV show, in 2018, and suddenly there's a knock at the door, and my grandfather gets to the door, and I'm sitting upstairs in like these tights and a femme like pajama shirt, and my
Oh.
hair was done like a femme ponytail and whatnot. I'm just sitting there minding my own business. My dad walks in, he looks at me, and he goes like, "Is that, huh?"
Not me? Yeah.
Who is that? Because he didn't see me in over a year because he's been too busy, and
Mm.
I lost significant weight since then. And he's like, "Who is that? Wait, is that like? Wait a minute, I know you." And yeah, I looked at him going, "Oh fuck, I forgot to tell you. Surprise, I'm girl now." And my dad's like, "Cool. I now have two daughters and a son." That's basically, yeah. My sister and my brother also found out the same day because they also happen to be behind my dad.
Oh, so they all found out at the same time. It was a family moment.
Yeah, they all walked in because my dad wanted to come over to fix me for us, but I guess my sister and brother wanted to come over as well.
Uh-huh.
So that was fun. And then my dad told my stepmother on the phone, and my stepmother only asked one simple question does she have makeup on? Apparently, that's a thing that girls are supposed to do. I guess all girls are supposed to wear makeup according to my stepmother. Whatever. No. Most I'm doing is eyeliner. That's it.
Yeah.
And my auntie, I started telling my auntie when she visited. Like my grandmother called her over, like come over, hang, like come over, get some dinner with us. And my grandmother's all like, "Oh, guess what? Dead name has something to tell you." I'm just like, this is the one time I'll allow you to say that. Because it's a surprise. So my auntie came over with her tribe. That's what we say in Native American for families. We call them our tribes. And she comes over with my two cousins and my uncle. And they'll like walk in. Here I am, all femmed up, waiting, like just sitting on the couch again, by my business. And then my auntie just looked at me like, "Is this a surprise? You're gonna tell me what was about? Dead name has a girlfriend? Wait, no." Wait a minute. And one of my cousins was like, "Mom, no, that's dead name." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's me. It's Maple. That's my new name now." So my auntie and her family were okay with it. They're whatever about it. My uncle though. My uncle. So I have. Let's see. I have my dad, my auntie, and my uncle. My uncle's the oldest of the three of them. He found out at a Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh.
Yeah, so we had Thanksgiving at my auntie's place. By the way, Canadian Thanksgiving's in October, you heathens.
Mm.
And so we're all there, waiting for Uncle to get there because my uncle runs an Indian time. If you don't know what it is, it basically means they'll get there when they get there.
I feel that.
Yeah. Hey, when are you gonna get here? I'm running Indian time right now. Okay, so you'll get here in about 3 hours. Gotcha. Anyway, so we're all there. All family was there. It was actually quite a big event actually. And my uncle walked in with his family, my two cousins, and my uncle's wife at the time, girlfriend at the time. I think they're married now, but she was his girlfriend at the time. And my uncle straight up like looked at me and looked around and went like, "Who's the girl? Is that someone's girlfriend?" Because he also hasn't seen me in over a year at that time.
Mm.
And I just looked at him. Hoping he would get right away. No, he wasn't getting it. He just wasn't getting it. So eventually, my dad told him, and my uncle was all like, "No fucking wait, what the fuck? Like, when did this happen?" And yeah, that was a fun experience. And as we were eating dinner and whatnot, I was sitting across from my uncle, and my dad was next to me. And my uncle straight up asked me the question, like, "So now that you're a girl, does that mean you like men now?" And at the time of 2018, I was also a raging lesbian, and I kindly told him, "Have you met men?" And my dad just started fucking laughing. So that was funny. So yeah, my whole family was cool with it. Only person I can think of that has an issue with it, would be my grandmother on my mother's side, but I don't talk to her.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
always the grandmothers that can be fickle with it. Because I know
Yeah.
my grandmother, she's like a little about it too.
Like, no, you can't do this. You can't
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah. So Kea asks, does your
hmm
tribe and culture recognize two-spirit individuals?
It's the one that started it.
Yeah.
Yeah, two-spirit individuals actually were started by the Plains tribes, and then it kind of spread from out there. It's always been a part of our culture being two-spirit. For those who don't know what two-spirit is, it's someone who feels as if they're male and female, and they just like embrace both sides of it, and it's always been a thing in our family. I guess there's some people who don't understand that still. It's like gender fluid.
Yeah.
It's it's basically like gender fluid. And I have a friend of mine, back in Winnipeg, actually is two spirit themselves. Like there are some days she'll like leave that apartment as like looking like a guy, feeling the masculinity. Other days she'll leave feeling very feminine. So it's just it's nice to get that recognized now, because growing up in Canada in high school, we were never taught that at all. In our textbooks or history classes, which sucks. But
Yeah.
and it's been a huge thing in our culture for the longest time, which sucks.
Yeah. So like did VTubing like help you at all in terms of like realizing your identity or expressing your identity in any way?
100%. I can confirm 100%. Actually, even before that, it was VR chat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So VR chat back in 2018, 2017, sorry, is when I first started like just saying fuck it, this is who I am. Like
Uh-huh.
I was a desktop user in VR chat, but every time I was in VR chat, I always used that feminine avatar, and I'm like, this looks really nice. This looks nice.
Mm.
Wow, this looks really good on me. Oh fuck, I'm a girl. Okay,
Yeah,
time to
VR
accept
chat tends to have
it.
that effect on people from what I've heard.
Yeah, actually, a lot of a lot of VR chat people I know, who are trans, all said it was because of VR chat that they realized that they were trans. Male to female or female to male, either way. And because in VR chat, you're basically like you're in an avatar that makes you comfortable, and and it's just like, oh, I feel more comfortable being in this girl avatar. I wonder why that is. Like, I have a friend right now questioning themselves at this moment in time because
Uh-huh.
of that. Yeah. But yeah, VRChat did that, and then into VTubing. So last year in July, my very first VTuber model was very, very trans, because she had a trans flag as a shirt.
Mhm.
And honestly, it just felt a good way to express my feminine side as being a trans girl. It just helped a lot, and it again, there's a lot of LGBT people in the VTuber community, which is awesome. And it wasn't until I think it was back in March, I think it was, where I started realizing that I'm very non-binary in how I look and feel, but I feel feminine at the same time. And that's when I learned about the term demigirl, and which basically is like a feminine non-binary person, from my understanding. So yeah, that's how I feel, is being very like demigirl, because there are some days where I don't feel feminine. Like I don't feel as feminine as other days, basically.
Uh-huh.
And honestly, the concept of gender sucks. Why have gender roles when you can have sushi rolls?
Or pizza rolls. That's the classic one I hear
Well,
about a lot.
I actually had pizza rolls last night.
Oh, really? Was it
Yeah,
like are they called like what are they called? Like Tostitos,
yeah,
tortillas
the
or something?
Totinos,
Yeah,
yeah,
Tortinos.
Totinos. Tinos, yeah. My roommate's friend brought over like 50 pizza rolls and just made them.
Oh shit, 50 of them. Wow.
Yeah, they were like, all right, making pizza rolls. Who wants pizza rolls for dinner? And I'm like, I do. I'll have some pizza rolls.
Yeah. Yeah. I personally am a big fan of sushi rolls myself. I'm
I
a
actually
huge
live
sushi person.
I live 3 blocks from a sushi place, and it's amazing.
Oh wow, that sounds so tempting. Like if I lived that close to a sushi place, I'd probably spend too much money there.
Oh
I'd be
my! It's
scared of
all you
that.
need. It's all you need as well. That's the dangerous part. It's just like just put it in my
Oh,
mouth.
it's all you can
Just
eat?
yeah, all you can eat
Wow.
sushi. Oh, it's so good. I love sushi so much.
Me too.
Um, So what's your favorite sushi roll?
Um, spicy salmon. Spicy salmon,
Yo.
100%.
I'm all about that eel, yo, the umami.
Eel, yeah, eel is
I
so
love
good.
eel. Yeah, eel's so good. Like every time my girlfriend goes to shopping at the local market basket, if she knows I'm in a bad mood, we're in a bad place, she just brings home eel sushi for me from there, and I'm instantly better. It's just
Yeah,
like, oh, sushi, like it's still so good. I also used to be a very big fan of spicy crab, but I don't know what it is about crab lately because when I found out it was imitation crab, it's just not the same anymore now. It's just not the same anymore.
honestly, it's kind of the same for me. Not just that, it more so started happening when I started buying my own imitation crab and
Mhm.
started using it for cooking recipes. It's just sort of a
Yeah.
taste that, like, I don't know, I get bored of it easily, I feel.
Yeah, well, I remember a couple months ago, my girlfriend bought a cooked crab, like a fully cooked crab from the market basket and brought it home. And we like did a whole peeling thing, peel the head back, get the meat out, drink the innards. Apparently, that's what you're supposed to do with them. The mustard, it's called. And I was eating the
Mm,
meat. I'm just like, this tastes nothing like pollock, like the imitation crab.
yeah,
We've been lied to.
we really have been. Like, I think imitation crab is literally just like, I
It's
heard,
pollock.
it's just like bottom feeder, basically.
It's a pollock fish, yeah, which is a bottom feeder, yeah, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Actually, at the same sushi place I was talking about, they actually do like these lobster sushi rolls. Uh, so there are the all you can eat sushi only happens between certain hours at the restaurant.
Mhm.
But when it's not those hours, the lobster sushi rolls is like 6 pieces, and
Yeah.
they're like $30 each.
Oh my
The roll
god.
is $30, which
But
is weird because I live in New England. You think lobster would be cheap here, but it's not.
but at least if it's expensive, you at least know it's real lobster. Because there's also imitation lobster, which
What?
yeah, there's imitation lobster. I picked it up from the grocery store a couple of times. I honestly don't notice a difference between imitation lobster and imitation crab. I think they just
Mm-hmm.
call it lobster so that they can charge a little more for it.
Oh, that sucks. Oh my god.
Yeah.
The cool thing about market baskets, when and their lobster and whatnot, you could actually just pick out a live lobster from their tank and whatnot. Like you literally go like, hey, I want to get a lobster. They'll be like, okay, come to the tank here. They take you to the tank and whatnot, and they go like, pick your own lobster. Here's the tongs. Have fun. Like, sweet. Let's go.
Yeah, there's a lot of the grocery stores here are like that. I don't know, I never actually picked up a lobster from a grocery store, but I'm always like tempted. I'm just like I kind of want to like grab a lobster, take it home and keep it as a pet. Have a little pet lobster.
my pet lobster, Roy.
Yeah. Have like a little like lobster aquarium or something. I don't know. Like I was
Mhm.
like that even when I was like a little kid. I would always like the thing that always made me most excited about going to a grocery store is running up to the lobster tanks and just
Oh my
watching the
god,
lobsters
yeah.
and just like poking them and annoying the shit out of them. You know?
Signs that you're a water person. You look at the lobsters at the market at the grocery store. Just like,
Yeah.
hello, lobsters, how you do? Speaking of like aquarium stuff and whatnot, I actually went to the Boston. I can talk today. Boston Aquarium today. Not
Wow.
what am I saying? I went to the Boston Aquarium in 2019. I am tired. I had no coffee today.
Yo, same.
Yo, I need some caffeine in me, but it's only 5:30 p.m. Anyways, so I went to the Boston Aquarium back in 2019, and that place is really, really cool. Like it's not wide, but it's more tall because there's like 4 floors.
Mhm.
And in the center of said aquarium, there's actually a giant cylinder tank they have that has like all sorts of like fish in it, and 2 sea turtles
Wow.
named Leonardo and Donatello.
Leonardo, they named them after Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, it's great. And yeah, like when I was there with my girlfriend, they also had penguins as well, just vibing. Like
Uh,
penguins just vibing. They had sea lions acting like idiots.
yeah, I fucking love penguins.
I know they have like 4 different kinds of penguins, and they know when people are trying to take a picture of them, they run away. It's either they run away or pose for the camera. Like
Aw.
there's always two types of penguins, and yeah, it's a tall building. It has like all sorts of like fish life in it that you can just look at and admire. And since the aquarium's like dim blue lighting, it feels like you're underwater as well, which is really cool.
Hmm.
And yeah, like if anyone's near the Boston area, I highly suggest going to it. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So another question I have for you, because I know we gotta wrap up soon. This was a shorter interview. What would be your advice to like anyone here who either hasn't come out yet or is still figuring themselves out?
The number one thing I want to say is you don't have to come out if you don't feel safe. If you don't feel safe at all in your environment, you don't have to come out at all. Do it when you feel comfortable and when you feel safe. If you're getting those feelings as well, talk to somebody that you know that is part of the LGBT. Like ask them. They're not gonna judge you and they're not gonna be like angry or anything like that. Always reach out to your friends who are LGBT. They'll give you the right resources and honestly give you the biggest helping hand you can get. And I think the third biggest thing I'm also gonna say is if you do come out and you need to like hide that part of you, you don't have to present it right away. Like it's the same thing I said in point one. Only do when you're comfortable. Just do what you can and don't force yourself to be unhappy.
Yeah, I mean that's wonderful advice, and I think that's something that really good points to be made is don't come out obviously when you don't feel it's safe to, and reach out to a trusted friend or heck even family member or maybe even like someone you know and if you have neither, honestly, therapy is pretty good for that. And they
Yeah,
also have, they have confidentiality. So whatever you tell them, they're not going to be telling like, other people, obviously, because they have
exactly.
confidentiality because you're paying them, to talk to them about these things.
And also, believe it or not, Planned Parenthood also helps with that stuff as well.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, at least the ones in my state do. They actually help out with trans patients, like
Mhm.
the therapy and the medication and all that fun stuff. So, yeah, Planned Parenthood if you have access to it.
Wow. Now, are they informed consent, or is it like you have to get like the papers and everything for the
I think
HRT?
I do believe it's informed consent.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do believe so.
Yeah, I figured as much because I know like they're super progressive with how they like
Mhm.
run things.
They are,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. So and on top of like the therapy note too, I find that specifically looking for like gender therapy is really important.
It is,
Because
yes.
like I had because that was my issue because I kept like trying to find therapists when I was going through this, and there would be so many therapists I'd go to who either didn't know what the heck I was going through, or worse yet, they would gatekeep me or tell me like, "Oh no, you just want to be a cross-dresser," and
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, I'm like, I don't think this is what's going on, you know?
I don't want to. I don't want to be Rocky Horror. I don't
Mhm,
want to be. I don't want to
mhm.
be Tim Curry.
Exactly, and I think that's the difference
Mhm.
there.
Yeah,
So that being said, thank you so much for coming on.
it was
Um,
good. It was a pleasure to come on. I had a lot of fun.
yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So we're gonna be moving on to the next interview. So thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for stopping by here, Maple. Really
Of
appreciate
course.
it. It means the world to
Mhm.
me. All
I'm glad you think so.
right.
I had a lot of fun hanging out with you as well.
Yeah, awesome. We'll stay in touch.
Sounds good.
All right. Catch you around.
I see you later.